one time I walked by and I saw the pool water was going up and down. And we were like, oh my gosh, we have bears in the yard.
Oh, don't come towards me, girl.
When we were still in the process of buying, the realtor did tell us there is a lot of bear activity. But we didn't realize how much bear activity we'd have until we actually moved in.
We're the first house from the National Forest. So we're the first house that they would visit on their way down.
We learned what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing.
Hey, get out of there.
We always keep the doors closed and the windows closed. It's been a couple of months now that they'll come by. It's cute.
We've gotten one bear that just comes and takes naps inside the pool.
The other bears definitely like to play and bat at the different floaties. And then they hop out of the pool and go on back to the forest or down the street.
We love seeing them, so every time they come around, we start recording them. But Maddie Bear, she's our most frequent visitor. She was very comfortable and curious.
What you doing, boo?
I remember one time when she came around with the cub. We were like, oh my God, she must have been pregnant. And oh my gosh, they were so tiny and just adorable. She's on full-time daycare as being a single mom. Maddie likes to swim. She'll go to the other end and back and soaks herself down. And when she wants to play in the pool, the cubs are in the background having a bunch of fun. So she was probably happy she didn't have to deal with him.
Oh my God, such a cute little thing. When we first moved in, we were scared.
But they've kind of changed our life, and I would say for better. We get to coexist with these beautiful animals. So from that scary experience, it's now turned into a positive for us.
And we definitely feel like it's a privilege.
Come here. Come on, Nudie.
As soon as he sees my husband, Nudie is immediately running to him. He does not treat anybody else like that. And he'll just hold a long conversation with him.
You ready to go to work? I know. Come on.
Everything he says to him, he answers back in cute little tone.
What?
He just has that bond with him. The way he looks at him, that he wants him to hold him. You can just see the love in his eyes. So Nudie and some other baby nutrias were in the streets. My husband grabbed Nudie because he thought it was the injured one. So he took Nudie with him and we immediately started researching. We got a kennel for him, lots of towels for him to make his little nest. We got like some wood to see if he would chew on the sticks because they need that for their teeth.
He's playing.
We knew that he needed his aquatic time. So we put water in the bathtub and he immediately loved it. And when we realized how much he loved the dog beds, we of course got him his own dog bed.
What in the world are you doing in your little dog sister's bed?
Then within a week of us getting him, he was showing his personality right then. he would get excited and start twitching and stuff. And that's his way of telling you he wants to play. You have to keep an eye on him.
This is a mess. This is a big, big mess.
Sometimes you'll steal the dog's toys and play with those. He makes his bed now in the bathroom that is attached to our bedroom. It was just a matter of wanting to be closer to us. As soon as he took him off of the street, I think he immediately was bonded to my husband. My husband was picking him up and cuddling him. My husband brings him as many places as he possibly can. He just stares at him with love. He literally makes us laugh every single day. He was never skittish or scared of us. From the start, we got his trust. And we just think he's adorable.
When Peta's outside in the front yard, she's using all her willpower for the door to open.
Hi, Peta.
She'll run to the door so she can go in to see Fia. We've set up our cameras to notify us anytime there's this blonde golden doodle just sitting on our doorstep.
You wanna go see your friend?
Now, as I walk through the door, I see a bonus dog in the house.
Oh my god, you brought me a toy! Bring it here!
But it's not just our door that Peta knocks on. She also knows what our car sounds like.
What's in your mouth, young lady?
And it's so sad to see when Peta has to go because Fia will actually look out the window and look for her. We got Fia shortly after we lost another dog who was a really big part of our family. So there was a sad grieving time, but then we were ready to welcome a new dog into our family. So we adopted Fia a little over 4 years ago. There came a point where it was time for us to move to a new home.
Come here!
My husband was in the front yard meeting our neighbors, and we saw our neighbor's dog appear at our back door.
Hey, wait. Where are you going?
Peta investigated the house, got to meet Fia, and the two of them became absolute best friends. And that was kind of where this whole thing began.
Hey, Peta. Everyone's talking about you at work.
Peta quickly learned that if she stood at our front door, she might get to see Fia. Eventually, she would take a quick jog through the bushes right over to our front door. Now, when her dad is out in the front yard making phone calls, he lets her walk over, knock on our door, and if we're home, she comes in and plays.
You wanna play? You wanna go inside?
It's so interesting because Peta and Fia are complete different personalities. Peta is this super laid back, very chill, easy to love, fluff ball of a dog. And then we've got Fia, who's got a lot of spunk, a lot of attitude. But despite being total opposites, these two have become best friends. And ultimately, it's so fun to see these two together. When we see Peta and Fia together, we just feel at peace.
Let's go.
Peta changed Fia's life because she gave her a best friend in her new neighborhood. And just to see both of them be really happy together means a lot to us.
Come here, Stanky. Oh, hey, come here. Come here, Stanky. Oh, come here. Lindsay, come here.
There are days where it's like, all right, I'm trying to go to the bathroom right now. You can leave. But no. He's a very clingy bird in a childlike way.
Quit looking at me like that.
He will sit there and watch whatever you're watching on your phone for days. He's very much like a cat. He just kind of lounges around, hangs out with you. I'm like, go play with the neighborhood kids. And then when he's done playing and exploring, he'll come sit on my shoulder. It's funny because Linnies are usually pretty quiet, soft, gentle birds. And Dipper is almost the exact opposite.
You guys are always talking about how cute my bird is. Want to see how cute he is?
And I've always been around birds growing up. And I have my own apartment now. So I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready to get a bird. So I did some research on Linnies, is what people call them. And I was like, oh, cool, that sounds just like a good match for me. With a lot of birds, usually there's this period of like gaining their trust and like they're nervous and uncomfortable. So I had some expectations. But the first day we brought him, it was a very rare case. He fit right in. He was playing in his cage, he was eating, he was drinking. He just was like, cool, guess this is my new home now. But also, he's always been a daredevil. So we were a little timid to let him out of his cage. We tried to make sure that our house was as bird-proof as possible. But he would walk around on the floor a lot, and we were constantly worried we were going to step on him. So we had to pay attention to that. Another thing with Linnies specifically is they like to burrow. So you have to watch for that, and you have to like make sure you're not just like flopping down on your bed or on the couch. But luckily Dipper's been pretty good about that. He's constantly chattering. It's hard to lose him, thankfully. Him being himself, him being goofy and full of life and full of wonder, and really nice to see, and it's refreshing. If I had to compare him to one thing, he's probably the size of dinner roll. But it's really cool that something that is that small can have that much personality. I couldn't imagine him being any other way.
Itty is kind of like a mix between a cat and a dog. She started liking to climb curtains and get into some mischief. And then as she got bigger, her wild side started to come out. We take Itty on as many adventures as we can. She loves to go to the river and explore in the water and the rocks. She likes to look for crawdads and little tadpoles. But when we got her, she was very much like having a little newborn. We saw on Facebook that there was a pest control company that removed a raccoon mom from a house, and then 2 days later they found 5 babies. So we volunteered to take one of them, and we got her when she was about 5 days old.
My movie's gonna roll down.
We had to bottle feed her and do her potty care. But she seemed to just kind of go with the flow and fit right in with our lives and did really well. We have 5 kids, so they were all very, very excited and interested in taking turns feeding her. And she took to it really well and eventually moved up to bigger bottles, and that got way easier.
You hear your voice?
The kids act like she's a sister.
Oh!
Sometimes she makes messes in their rooms, and they don't love that. But they just think she's the best thing ever.
Nice.
Because she likes to dig in the yard. We've also taken her crystal digging here in Arkansas, and she really, really enjoyed that. She loved to be held and cuddled. Every chance that she gets to lay close to us on the couch, she really likes to be right up in your face. But she has the freedom to do what she wants during the day. We know that at some point she might decide to leave us, and that would break our hearts. We love Itty so, so much. She's super fun and super entertaining. She's the first thing that everybody looks for when they walk in the door. But we feel like her having the freedom to choose what she wants to do is best for her.
People will see us walking and they are like, he's huge. But he doesn't know how big he is. I feel like he just wants to be held like the big baby. When I have a guest come over, he doesn't give them personal space. He thinks he's a lap dog. Most people don't mind because
Meech is about 150 pounds and he is a gentle giant.
I got Meech 2 years ago when he was a puppy. He is a bull mastiff, which is a cross between an English mastiff and an English bulldog. When I first met him, I started crying because he's just the cutest puppy. He has such a squishy face because he's got that bulldog in him. When I got him, he was a big puppy and he just never stopped growing. I don't think I realized how big he would be, even though I knew from doing my research. Initially, I wasn't letting him sleep in my room or in my bed. But he's very stubborn, so I kind of gave in and now he sleeps in my room. And then he'll be stubborn when it's nice out and he just wants to sit outside. He will just sit in place and just not budge. Come on, Meech, let's go. Come on. Come on, Meechy. Sometimes I just sit next to him and just wait because there's no point. And otherwise, he's just a good boy. But honestly, a lot of people are intimidated by him. This lady across the street, she was like, your dog is so intimidating. Usually when that's the case, I just tell him he's not going to bug you. They definitely assume that he is aggressive or he's going to do something. And he's never proved them right. When we go to the dog park, he goes to all the owners and gets pets from them. He is just the sweetest boy. I think big dogs just get a bad rap because they're big. But for the most part, people realize he's not aggressive. They can see it. Then they see like he's just a big baby and he just wants pets. He has nothing but good intentions.
Just a kid and her bat out there on the Aussie land getting by.
You know, raising a toddler is already hard as it is. But what do you do when you have two?
Oh, she's gonna chew your nose off.
Stormy and Ashley have made the farm their ultimate playground. As soon as they wake up, they jump into a puddle of mud. At bedtime, it's all about snuggles and bedtime stories though. These two are like brother and sister, really. But we could have never expected their bond to grow the way it did.
Hop in your bed. Hop in.
Stormy was found on a block of land that had been backburned. Some people saw her roaming around the ashes like a little phoenix. Luckily though, she had no burn marks, but was covered in ticks, and because she was so restless, she bumped her head and ended up with a big scratch. We spent all night getting her back to her healthy self. And the moment Ashley laid eyes on Stormy,
I just love Stormy, she's so cute and fluffy.
She knew she wanted to take care of her.
She's getting scared because she's going into the vet.
And when they got home, Stormy was glued to Ashley's hip. She would only let Ashley bottle feed her.
Is Stormy easy to feed? Is she?
Ever since they kicked off their grand adventure, Stormy opened up like we couldn't believe. She started to zoom around the sanctuary. She began joining in on Ashley's dance routines. They love playing chase and having little wrestling matches in the house. But most importantly, they make each other feel safe. So come hell or high water, you'll never find one without the other. When Stormy came in, Ashley's friendship was like a magic potion for her. She knew that with her human sister by her side, they were unstoppable. And I know that Stormy will cherish this friendship for years to come.
Someone's knocking at the door. Who could it be, I wonder? What are you doing?
When Colton was a little over 1, he'd run to the barn saying, "May come." And as soon as he would call her, she'd come up, and they just started meeting at the fence. In the mornings, he would come down and just help me clean her stall. He'll go in and give her a treat and say, "High five, Maple." Colton is definitely Maple's favorite person ever. But she was a little anxious when I first got her. No, don't come in here. Back up. When we moved here, I told my husband I want a horse. We didn't have a barn or anything, but once we got that underway, I started looking. And then luckily, she just popped up on my feed. I went and I looked at her, and just instantly it was true love at first sight. But she was moved a couple times recently, but she would startle at things. Until the first time I took my son's hand, and it was just true love from there. Look, she's looking for a kiss now. Turn around, give her a kiss on the nose. Oh. Our normal routine in the morning, we clean her stall, brush her, and just fly spray on, get her ready for the day. We'd take a break, give some treats, and give some kisses. They definitely have a true connection that's different than anybody else.
And I had to clean this up. There's so many hay that I had to clean up, huh?
Maple's definitely just happy to hear his voice. Then he realized he could call her from the pasture, and her ears perked up, and she's like, "Where's my boy at?" It just made my mama heart proud. But of course, I never let Colton around her unsupervised. Maple is exactly what you want in a horse, and especially a kid's horse. It makes me proud that Colton is growing up learning responsibility. But I definitely didn't expect them to have such a strong bond. Now my dream is even expanded because my child loves my dream horse, and my dream horse loves my child more than me.
Having a fox, it was almost like having a new baby. Once she was in my arms, I just immediately fell in love with her. She couldn't walk very well yet because she was so little, so we basically carried her everywhere. She slept almost the entire time and woke up to drink milk. We had a dog, and he definitely was a little jealous at first. If we were holding her, petting her, it was kind of like trying to get our attention. So honestly, at the beginning, I was a little nervous about it. A couple years ago, my husband came to me and said that he wanted to rescue a fox. I thought that it was crazy, and then I had softened up a bit and decided to let him do it. We wanted to make sure that we did it the right way, so we found a rescue shelter.
Roxy's parents were raised in a shelter, so when she was born, they couldn't really teach her how to survive in the wild. We consulted with specialists and different veterinarian clinics, and they confirmed that it would be in her best interest to be under the care of us.
We definitely did some research up front about the setup and the food. My husband literally redid the whole half of our basement for her. It was probably 6 months of getting comfortable with her. We were a little worried how Diesel was gonna take to her, but he's gotten over that. She's older now, she's bigger, and they can actually play together. He'll lay on the ground, and then all of a sudden she'll pounce on him. Even if she just saw him like 2 hours ago, when they meet again, she'll like tinkle on the floor, wags her tail just like a dog. People saying that foxes and dogs don't get along. I think their friendship in general proves that wrong. There's definitely a point where they'll be tired. So usually then we'll kind of split them up so they can catch their breath. But he would have to go everywhere that she went, like a super protective older brother. It almost felt like he took her in as his own. And they've built that trust with each other. It's so cool to see that.
You grow up seeing zebras and you never expect to be that close to one.
But anytime we go out there, she has to follow you.
Marty, she wants all the attention on her. It doesn't matter what you're doing, she will insert herself between you and whatever you want.
Hey, alright, come on, dude.
She just surprises us every day. It's a surreal feeling, and it's one I'm never gonna get used to. In 2021, we went to an animal sale, and we were kind of just looking around. But we had ran into her previous owners who owned a petting zoo, and they were putting her up for auction. I know that she was trailered or haltered, like moved around a lot. And that interaction with her new people can be stressful. Especially because she was so young, she was only a year old. Just because she was hand-raised by people, it's the only life she knows. So we didn't go looking for a zebra, but we ended up with a zebra. Zebras, they're not an animal that you can just walk right up to. They can be very aggressive, and they rely heavily on their instincts. There are days that I'm intimidated by her, but we spend hours with her every week, if not daily. We had done a bit of research and trying to figure out their personality, what they need. We build that trust, and we were very impressed with her demeanor.
She's very forward with her actions.
If she's feeling really relaxed, she loves to scratch her butt on the fence post, which just is a goofy thing to watch. If she's being goofy, she'll come up and kind of headbutt you. If she's kind of being a little impatient, she like kind of gives you a look. You can kind of see her go, oh, not this again.
She's struggling. And just always has to be kind of about her.
She has 3 donkeys with her. They've kind of always been buddies from the beginning. But every now and again, they kind of disagree. Her personality is huge. It's larger than life. And that's been kind of fun to watch blossom that we didn't expect. Since zebras, like we said, are not domesticated animals, we don't recommend anybody go get one as a pet. But we're very grateful and fortunate for the life we have to give her the life that she deserves. She has never shown a mean bone in her body to us. It's a fun adventure in our life that we've committed to for 25 years.